As a fresher, I want to enter this role. What background do I need? Do I need finance? Do I need law? Or do I need tech background? What is it? Okay, so when we say the term anti-money laundering, what does it exactly mean? Any misconception you had before joining on this job? Like first time you heard in college, you thought ki this role is related to this, and now you feel completely different. Any such scenarios? So, hey guys, welcome back to season one and episode seven of Life at Work. Today I'm joined by Richa. So, Richa, how are you doing today?
Hey Devaki, I am really good. How are you?
Good, good. So, we'll get started with the session. And Richa, can you give a small introduction about yourself?
Okay, hi everyone. My name is Richa, as Devaki mentioned. So basically, I have done my undergrad in economics honors. I have done my MBA in finance and marketing and got placed via campus in an MNC. Right now, I'm in a consulting firm from past 2 years, and I work as an AML financial crime analyst.
So, Richa, this feel very field sounds very fancy from outside the when you hear the word AML. So, I think it's a very broad umbrella to cover. So, what are the different roles a person can look for under AML field?
Hmm. So actually, yes, you are right. Like it sounds very fancy. You work as an anti-money laundering specialist. So yeah, so it's there. But if I talk about the true AML, so it's a big umbrella, as you mentioned, and we have multiple roles inside it. So I work for transaction monitoring, but under it we have multiple roles like KYC, sanctions, CTR, adverse media, and etc. There.
So, particularly related to the transaction monitoring, if I have to ask you, can you explain how your day looks from morning till evening? What you do actually?
Okay, so basically, in transaction monitoring, we generally monitors the transactions done by the client for banks, especially for banks. Like it could be for any FIIs, but I work for bank. So basically, we review the transactions, and my day looks like basically there are two roles while doing transaction monitoring. We do two layer of monitoring. First is the analyst level, and then second is the QC role. So I work as a on a quality control side of the role once the uh, case investigation is being done. So then afterwards, we need to recheck that whether it is done correctly or not. So it's like that. And in my day, it's like my work is a bit volume driven. So we need to hit some targets because there are a lot of transactions which is being done on a day to day basis. So it's like we have to review each and every customers which is associated with the bank. So it's like a volume driven work, but yeah, so it's like that.
So, typical 8 or 9 hours per day is your shift, right?
Yeah.
On an
So
average, I can say.
basically, I would say on an average it's a 8 to 9 hours of shift, but some days it will be really high. Like there will be some seasons where you'll be working for like 11 hours, 12 hours based on the requirement. So mostly in an on an average we work for 8 to 9 hours, but yes, there will be some seasons where the transactions will be a lot and we need to cater for 11 to 12 hours also.
So, if as a fresher I want to enter this role, what background do I need? Do I need finance? Do I need law? Or do I need tech background? What is it?
So AML, I guess AML is something which is open to all. It is not based out of anything, but yeah, you need to know the basics of AML and you need to have a basic understanding of finance. Like finance in the sense you need to have a basic understanding of credit, debit, and those things, which is very generic. You must need to know like that because you are monitoring. If you're coming into transaction monitoring, you will be on a daily basis you will be encountering with the debits, credits, and a lot of instruments which are involved into it. So you need to know the basics, but there is not a certain background which you have to come through, like which you have to do particularly to get into the AML. There are some certain certifications. If you are doing it, it's really good. But as a fresher, if somebody coming out of their undergrad, anybody can enter into this field. But yes, if somebody is coming from a finance or commerce background, then it would be an advantage for them.
But those who are not coming from a finance or commerce background, they can learn these skills on the job itself, right? In 1 or 2 months would be sufficient for them to learn these skills.
Yes. So yeah, it's a on-job training. If you're coming from a different background, you can learn things on job. But then, and yes, within 1 to 2 months, you can easily learn things depending upon the your capacity of grasping, and how detail oriented you are. So that's something that depends upon the person to person. But basically, 1 to 2 months is more than enough to learn the basics and more than basics for AML.
So before circling back to the undergraduate degree or the master's degree, so did you know exactly this is the job you will be doing after that, or it just happened? How was it?
No. So it just happened. Actually, it just happened. Since I come from commerce and finance background, I was keen interested into corporate valuation and all. But then it just happened. It came. This job role came to our campus, and actually, it sounds very fancy. Like you are doing anti-money laundering, you are saving the world, and all that. So yes, it's there, and you are actually doing a good. You're actually doing something very special and very. It is something which is very niche in finance also. So it's very new to the India, I guess. It is very old for US because after 9/11, it was mandatory for all the FIIs, consulting firms, and all the credit unions to be done. But in India, it's entering from the past 10 or 11 years, and now it's growing on a very high speed. So now it's like that. But when it came to me, it was like I never planned to come into this role, but now I really love my job. So I feel like this is meant for me.
Okay, so when we say the term anti-money laundering, what does it exactly mean? Like simple terms, can you explain?
So basically, laundering means washing out, right? So anti-money laundering is when the somebody is trying to wash out their black money into white money, showcasing it as a white money into the financial system, and doing and using it for some illegal purpose and turning out to into some illegal activities. So we try to stop those activities. We try to stop the financing of those activities by doing anti-money laundering. So it's like stopping illegal activities or illegal activities. Okay.
So we can say the work we are doing has a global impacts on some level because this money can be used for drug trafficking or terrorism or other illegal terms, right?
Yes. So basically, any crime in the world is sourced by money, right? So that money doesn't come in like very explicitly to the particular people. Ki, hey, we are giving you money, you can do this. So this is something people try to enforce that black money into the financial system by placing it out and then washing it out into white money. So yes, all those illegal activities which is being done in this world is being financed somewhere or the other, and these are basically financed by black money only.
Okay,
And as an
so go ahead if you want to add
and
something.
as an anti-money laundering specialist, we try to stop or we try to suspect all those transactions.
So it's a risk mitigation method, we would say, for the banks,
Kind
so
of.
they are not getting fined by the regulators or the authorities in US or in India, right?
So yes, basically why AML is important for banks is because one of the reason is like we try to stop those illegal activities, but other than that, in certain countries like US and all, there is a certain there is a mandatory compliance which they have to follow. Otherwise, they'll get into trouble. The FIIs and the credit unions and all will get into trouble because they'll have to pay huge penalties. First thing is like they have to pay huge penalties. Then they have the risk of their damage of reputation. So if a bank which is globally available across the world and is engaged into something illegal activity or something supporting the illegal activities, then it will obviously it will hamper their reputation. So that is also there, and then they might have the risk of losing the license of doing the like providing the services to the customer. They also have that risk associated with them, and at the end the last thing is like they can also sue by the court. So they can also get into lawsuits and all.
Okay, so can you mention top three skills which a person would need to excel in this role?
So basically, if I would say about the hardcore skills, we need to know about the MS Excel, we need to know the MS Words, you need to be very good with your report writing and all, because we, on the daily basis, we need to generate a report after doing investigation. So you need to be good at those things. Apart from that, if you are good with the data handling, like if you are using some SQL and something else, so since we have a lot of data, so if you are good enough with the analytics part, that is also a very good thing to be like added to your resume and all. And if I talk about the soft skills, then you should be very good with your communication skills. You should be good with your written writing skills, I would say. And then you should be good with your like this work is kindly it is like deadline oriented work. You have to meet your SLAs, you have to meet your deadlines. So you should be punctual enough to like provide to like you have to do your target before the deadlines approach. And then you should be, very important part is like you should be very detail oriented about this work. This work needs a lot of detailings. You cannot miss any of the detailings, because might be in the future it can have a like huge impact. So you have to be detail oriented.
Okay, so Excel and Word, I think people know it
That's
mostly, and that can be learned across. But during the college days, I think the if you take part in fest or quizzes or various competitions, you will be able to handle pressure and manage time accordingly over there.
yeah.
And so, someone currently in college, I believe you can focus on participation, your communication skills, and you can explore Coursera and YouTube for much more detail into AML and certifications. Richa, can you tell me the certifications if person wants to grow in this field? What certifications are there in the AML?
So basically, the ACAMS is one of the best certification course which a person can do to work over here or to work across the world. So ACAMS is something which is being accepted by all over the world. And apart from that, people do CFE. That is also helpful. They do fraud investigation certifications related, or there are certifications which is specifically dedicated for fraud investigations and all. So you can do all of those, but I would prefer like if somebody is doing ACAMS, then that is really helpful towards like this career, for this career.
And what would growth look like? Suppose I join in AML as a fresher. How many years it will take me to grow up in this role?
So I feel that completely depends upon the firm you are into, and then the capability or the work you are delivering. But apart from that, if I generalize like what amount of years it would take, so I feel like if you are working for at least 3 to 4 years, it would be paying you a good amount in AML, because this is something which is a very niche, as I told, like this is a very niche segment market, and this role completely rely on the amount of experience you bring to the table. So because since this is not something which you will be learning from your like school or in your college or something like that, you have to work, you have to gain experience, and then you will have to deliver. So that's why 3 to 4 years is like bare minimum, where you can expect a good amount of good amount of money and a good position in any certain companies. But apart from that, I feel this role has a lot to give to the newcomers as well, and those who are experienced uh, for those also.
Any misconception you had before joining on this job? Like first time you heard in college, you thought ki this role is related to this, and now you feel completely different. Any such scenarios?
Yeah, like I had one surprising element in after joining this job. I thought that this is a client facing role, but more than that, it is most of like it's an operational or it's a back end role where you have to deal with a lot of data. So it's not like you are going to the client and talking to them. It's more like you are handling the data on the back end and you are then preparing the reports and all of those. So that was something which is a very surprising element, but then it makes sense because we are working as a line of defense for second line of defense. So basically, there are three line of defense in banking sector. First is where the bank staff directly talk to the clients and all. So that is line of defense, which we call as first line of defense. So for them, it's like that. But since we work on the second line of defense, it's like we have to handle all the data at the back end. So yeah.
So the manager or the senior managers might be in the client facing. They must be talking to
Yeah.
the client what are the requirements, and they inform accordingly, right?
Yes. So yes, there are like managers and the upper management part are only exposed to the clients or directly to the compliance officers, because then because not everybody has the because there are we have, as I said, there is a two part of this. One is a client facing role, and then there is a second part which is a back end role. So not everyone will be allowed to like interact directly with the client, because there is not much work with directly like directly engaging it. The most of the part of this work relies on the data, so more numbers of the people will be engaged on the back end only. It's like that.
So I think the process, if we discuss it, we will run out of time. If we get enough questions regarding the process, we can cover that in the separate video. But apart from that, and how useful is your degree or experience in college useful in the current role?
I would say the amount of pressure we handle during MBA is something which is relevant enough in this role. And I guess that is relevant enough in any kind of role, but especially for this role, because this role is completely depending upon the SLAs we have, the deadlines we have. We have to close a case in certain time periods. So that kind and certain numbers of cases have to be completed within that during that period. So that amount of pressure which you handle, and then you do that detailing part of the work as well. So you have to deliver your quality, you have to deliver your quantity as well. So the pressure you observe, the pressure you get in this field, whatever we handle during our colleges when we were in MBA, we have to deliver a lot of assignments. We have to present presentations as well. We have to prepare for exams as well. That amount of pressure is something which is helpful in this role as well, where we have to deliver quality and quantity within a certain time period. So that is helpful.
Subject wise, anything?
Subject wise, I would say the basics of the finance is only helpful, not the exactly, because AML is not something which is being taught in your classes or in your colleges or in your school. But the basics of finance, like the bank's transaction, the credit, debit, all those things, and then we have balance sheet and everything. All the knowledge of basically the basic knowledge of the finance which we learn from the college, that is something helpful which will help you in get a better understanding while reviewing your transactions and all. But apart from that, I would say the environment which the MBA or the B schools provide, that is more relevant for this job.
Okay. And if one piece of advice you would like to give to your younger self when you were starting out?
I would say don't panic. Yeah. I would say the advice for the younger self or those who are entering into this field, I would say don't get panic and don't get fantasized by the world, like what others are doing, what you are doing. This role needs patience. This role needs years of experience. The more amount of time you will spend while doing the work, you will get more specialized, you will get more professionalized in this particular work. And after a certain period of time, will obviously you will feel that the results will start coming out for you. So don't get panicked. Just keep on doing your work. Just keep on refining your work, I would say.
So what would be the pay range if we have to talk about as a fresher, how much a person can expect for this role?
So for freshers now it depends upon the two things. Like if somebody who is entering into this field after undergrad, that will obviously that will depend around something between 3 to 5 lakh LPA. And if somebody is coming out of MBA and then entering into this field, then it will range between 7 to 10. Not being very specific, because then again it depends upon the B schools and the companies, the MNCs which is coming to your campus and all. But this is something generic which mostly people face. So it's like that.
Okay. Any other thing you want to put out for this role, any apart from what we have discussed till now?
Apart from this, I would say that this role has a lot to give you. And in India, this is increasing at a very fast rate. So I would say this role has good scope in India, and you can, without giving a second thought, you can easily enter into this field. But just have some patience and just keep on refining your work, and this will be very helpful to you. Like it's not something which you will be like afraid of, like after some time AI will come and then you'll have to face all those problems. But obviously AI will come into everybody's field, and then there will be certain part of the job which will get automated, but not completely, because this job is more on depending on the side of decision making. So I would say ki you can enter into this field. This is a very growing job in India, and you can expect a better future in this role.
I don't know if AI is growing at a faster pace in the near future of 5, 10 years. What will happen? Exactly, we don't know as of now. So,
Exactly.
so we will see on that. Just to get clarity on one thing, as a fresher, I don't need MBA to get into this role, right?
Yeah.
It's not
You don't
required.
need
It's
a.
not mandatory
Hmm.
for someone
Yeah.
to. If someone wants to experience, they can apply to the openings which they find online and get some experience. If they like, they can go for an MBA or a certification, whichever they prefer.
Yes. So, yes, you are right. So, anybody who is coming out of undergrad, they can easily enter into this field, and then they can decide, they can give some time to this role, and then they can decide like whether they want to go for MBA and then come back and join, or they want to do some certification and then they want to like rejoin, or they want to like move abroad, something like that. So that depends completely once you experience this role and whether it's like fitting into your criteria or into your dream job or not. So that is completely different for different people.
Okay, so that was it from my end. Thank you, Richa, for taking out time and being here for the session today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. It was nice talking to you. Hopefully it will be a helpful session for people who are entering into this field. So yes.
Let's hope we'll see in the comments if we get. So,
Okay.